So tonight's Bible study, we're continuing with our series of Advent words, and we're looking at the word for peace, shalom, is the Hebrew word for peace. So what do people know about peace, about shalom? Shalom is probably, as far as Hebrew words go, probably one of the more familiar ones. You maybe have heard the word shalom before. S-H-A-L-O-M. What do people know about shalom or peace?
I thought that word meant a lot of different things. Hello, goodbye, how are you? Peace be with you.
Well, in Farsi, like salam is hello.
Yeah,
Similar.
thanks, Anna.
Like a greeting, I guess.
Yeah, it is used as a greeting. And there's also greetings in a number of cultures that are greetings of peace. So like when we greet somebody, when you think about saying hello to somebody or hi, it's not just the act of saying hi. It sometimes becomes an empty word, but it also means when you do it, it means like I see you and I am greeting you. And it's more than just saying hi. So shalom has that deeper meaning too. We could use it to greet and other words that greet one another, but the roots often go back even further to it. Like in German, one of the greetings in southern Germany is Grüß Gott. It's like God's greetings. And but I mean, you just say it and it's like hi.
Yeah.
but it's also saying to somebody like God's greetings to you. Or when we say good morning, sometimes we just are saying like just like you're there, but we're also wishing the other person something. And that's the same with shalom, is we're doing an act at the same time.
We're acknowledging like their presence.
Mm-hmm.
That's important enough to greet them.
And we're greeting them in such a way that we're offering them this blessing too of shalom. What else do people know?
Would that be akin to aloha also?
I don't know all the definitions of aloha. Does any of you
Mm-mm.
know all the?
I just know it's like Hawaiian.
It means
I think it's on the same level as shalom. I think it has a number of I wish Louise were online right now, but
Yes,
Good.
I
she
think
could
it
tell
has
us.
yeah, she could tell. Maybe she could tell us next week.
Yeah.
Because I think it has also a number of nuances to it that would fit in many situations.
So aloha, this is just a quick Google search, so I'm not going very in depth. But one definition says it literally means the presence of breath,
Oh.
like of the presence of life. So that might be actually closer to like ruach, the Hebrew word for the Holy Spirit, breath of life.
Aloha.
What else do people know about peace or shalom? Do you use it at all? Where do you use the words peace or shalom at all?
Song. I don't
Song.
use it really. Can't remember the last time I said shalom to someone.
or and peace be with you.
We say
in
peace
church,
be with
but
you.
Yeah.
Take.
I sign a lot of emails as with peace.
People do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes peace. Peace out. Peace out.
I don't usually say peace out.
I know you don't. I've been watching the Brady Bunch. Or it reminds me of the 70s, 60s. It seems formal to me, the word. if I used it.
Like at the end of a Christmas letter or something,
Well, yeah, or if I said it to somebody,
sincerely, or
they would think it was formal. If I said
Okay.
shalom.
Unless
I
you use it
think
or not.
on, I think on
To-
Friday nights when they have their evening meal, it's Shabbat Shalom, and it's said
Jewish
with happiness, with joy.
part of ritual.
Yeah, Shabbat.
yeah. So the word shalom is used frequently in the Bible. It's about like 200 and near 240 times that it occurs in the First Testament, Old Testament Hebrew Bible. There terms
Does it
used.
mean peace?
It
Kind of.
has a number of
Oh,
different
I'm
meanings.
gonna say,
It
why is there
does
so much
mean
war?
peace,
It's
though.
240 times.
So it means peace, but it also means more than peace. So sometimes when we talk about the word peace in English, like one thing that comes to mind is like the absence of war is
Mm.
peace.
Mhm.
What else comes to mind
Like a
when you think
surface
in
meaning?
English?
Peace.
Peace.
Kind of if you're using it like for a person, I think it's kind of a deeper well-being. You're
Mm,
at peace.
Calmness.
yeah, a calmness.
Yeah.
And that I would say that deeper well-being, that like calmness is probably closer to the word shalom in Hebrew, because the root word for shalom, remembering all Hebrew words have a 3-letter root word. And so when we try to look at the meaning of words, we go back to what the root word is. And so a shalom, it means complete or whole at its root. So to be
complete
in
or
the
full.
complete or whole. Now, there's a lot of ways we use the words complete and whole, and there's a lot of ways shalom is used in the Bible too. So this could be like completeness in number, even. So like, do you have all your sheep? Like, do you have all 10 of them? Then you have the shalom of your sheep.
Okay.
It could also be like completeness in body, even physical. Do you have all your limbs? And completeness within our very beings as well, that are we are well-being.
Yeah.
It also means like a safety and soundness. So like, but tied with health too. So like well-being in your health. That soundness in the body, your body is well.
Sounds very holistic.
Yeah.
It's everything.
What about rest in peace?
What's
Rest,
that?
oh, rest in peace.
Rest in
Rest.
peace. That's
Well,
they're completely restful.
and may
Your physical body.
may
anyway.
you rest in wholeness.
Completeness, yeah.
It's interesting. So here we put on our stones, rest in peace. When we were in Norway, they had on their stones, it said "Takk for alt," is what it said, which means thanks for all. And that was like their equivalent of rest in peace.
Yeah.
They would put thanks for all.
Hmm.
So they told us don't say that to people. Like,
Oh. Just like you wouldn't say here,
you
rest in
wouldn't say
peace.
may you rest in peace.
No. When you go to bed at night.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't say "Takk for alt" to people in Norway,
Good to
where you're
know. Good to
implying they're going to the grave soon.
know.
It's also a peace. We have peace too, and even English, peace between people. If there's friendships or peace between people or peace between God, between us and God. So it's relational as well. It's not just within ourselves, but outside of us. In Hebrew, it is used in some places, a peace from times of war. And so it's got all of these different kind of connotations, just like the English word for peace has many different things within that as well. But let's look at some places in the Bible where it shows up. So we'll start in Genesis, as we've been doing. Our dictionary here. So Genesis chapter 15, verse 15. There it is. So this one, as Carol said, the rest in peace point, we're just going to start right there.
Yeah.
15, verse 15.
15.
15, not 16. Yeah. So
So in the
Somebody
NRSV,
read their 15.
my 15 in NRSV says, "As for yourself, you shall go to your ancestors in peace. You shall be buried in a good old age." What do others say?
Similar. Mine
yeah,
says peaceful.
too. Mine's similar.
Be buried.
Old age. Yeah, it's very similar. Yeah.
Mine's
Yeah.
just a little different.
Mhm.
For your part, you shall go to your fathers in peace. You shall be buried at a ripe old age.
Old age.
So the in peace part is the shalom.
Yes.
15.
So let's go to Genesis 26. So chapter 26, verse 29. I'm going to start reading it, verse 28. They said, "We see plainly that the Lord has been with you. So we say, let there be an oath between you and us, and let us make a covenant with you, so that you will do us no harm, just as we have not touched you, and have done you nothing but good, and have sent you away in peace. You are not now the blessed of the Lord." So what do others have? 23, 28, and 29. So this is in chapter 26, verses 28 and 29.
Is that what you have?
Mhm.
Here, you read this one.
I hope I'm in the right spot, but it said, Isaac said to them, "Why do you come to me since you hate me and have made me leave you?" "It became clear to us that Yahweh was with you," they replied. "And so we said, let there be a sworn treaty between ourselves and you, and let us make a covenant with you. Swear not to do us any harm, since we never molested you, but were unfailingly kind to you, and let you go away in peace."
I think the concept's same. So here, what does peace mean?
Sound
No harm.
Safety,
Not fighting,
not fighting, free from harm.
but also blessed.
Hmm.
Yahweh has blessed you. Or
Yep.
however yours that is. Yeah. Leaving blessing or something. Absence of war.
And that's part of peace, like you were catching, Hannah, that shalom, part of it is it's not just an absence of something, but it's also being replaced by something else. So it's an absence of harm, but it's being replaced by a blessing. And when we think about relationships, when we are at shalom, when we are at peace, we have an absence of there being maybe pain between the relationship, but we also have the blessing of having that relationship with one another. It's being replaced by so something still exists. It's not a void that peace is. It's something better. jump ahead a little bit to Joshua chapter 8.
Gosh. Well, there very often.
No,
Joshua.
Joshua?
Chapter
Yep. Chapter 8, verse 31.
Thirty-one.
Yep.
Okay.
So Joshua is building an altar to God.
Oh.
Here's what it says. Just as Moses, the servant of the Lord, had commanded the Israelites, as it is written in the book of the law of Moses, an altar of unhewn stones on which no iron tool has been used. And they offered it on it burnt offerings to the Lord and sacrificed offerings of well-being. Shalom shows up in an unexpected place here. And I wonder if you can catch it. It's not just where it says well-being.
Burnt sacrifices and peace offering.
Mine says peace out. Did yours say peace out?
Mhm.
Mine's offering of well.
Oh, mine actually says peace offerings. Yeah.
Joshua.
Joshua chapter 8, verse 31.
But that's the part you said is also.
So there's another place.
Sacrifice peace. There's
Sacrificed fellowship offerings.
Mine's just the altar was built. Sacrifice? I don't know.
No,
The
so
uncut stones? or-
it's the uncut stones.
Hmm.
Yep.
Wait.
So the unhewn stones
Yeah,
is
they're at
That's-
peace because they're not cut.
it's
They're
the
complete.
shalom stone.
Complete
It's a
stone?
whole stone.
Oh my gosh.
And so that's another use of
Like that's stretching
shalom.
it. Okay.
So this
Like a door that hasn't been opened. Shalom.
is shalom. That would maybe mean an unbroken door.
Maybe
Mhm.
something that could be broken.
So this is
Tear this up.
yeah, a shalom stone here in Joshua. So this is a different meaning than we just saw in Genesis. A peace stone, meaning it's not been broken. It's whole. It's
Okay.
complete.
Alright. Is that why that was the sacrifice was there?
My stones say undressed.
Undressed.
Undressed stones they do.
Oh.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
So shalom only used once in the Hebrew and that,
No.
was it
Um,
twice? Was it,
let
did,
me
because I
look
have
that up in
fellowship
the
offering, you
interlinear.
had
Yeah,
some
because
other
mine says peace offering.
peace off. Okay,
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's gotta be,
mine said fellowship.
at least it
so-
has sort of a hint of that meaning. It's not, maybe not the word. Translated it into peace from something else, I guess, or fellowship. I don't know.
All right, shalom, it's the whole stones, and then shalom, a variant of shalom also shows up with peace offerings.
Mhm.
The more obvious.
So, yep, so those two places. But I like this undressed concept actually, because that's a really fascinating thing to bring up. So we have shalom, we have this shalom stone, this
Mhm.
undressed stone,
Mhm.
okay? And we have at the beginning of Genesis, we've got the story of Adam and Eve, and they're in the Garden of Eden. In the time when all things are whole and complete is when humanity is undressed. That is when things are all whole and complete.
Hmm.
Because throughout the Bible, humanity is being called to be vulnerable before God, to be naked before God. And so this is something that humanity is constantly being called towards and that we constantly move away from. Because to be naked before God, to be whole and vulnerable before God is difficult for us. There's
Mhm.
things we try to hide, things we don't want to be. But so why would it be a good thing to have the altar on a shalom stone, an undressed stone? It's also calling humanity back to being whole and complete and to be naked,
To be unguarded.
to be unguarded. Yeah.
Good way to end up on the psych ward.
Oversharing?
I'm sorry, but all I can think of is somebody going down the streets of Bismarck. Totally
Yelling,
whole. Shalom.
I'm whole, I'm whole,
Being
I'm whole.
completely unguarded.
Undressed.
There's a balance. Literally.
There's also a balance with being in shalom with the wider community.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Maybe concept came from
Maybe.
60s.
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah.
you know?
Trying to let it all out. Their hair and their personalities.
We are a culture though that struggles more with nakedness than many other
Yes,
cultures.
that's
do.
true. More guarded.
Mhm, mhm.
So not every culture struggles as much with
No, that's true.
And the statues of David.
that. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Was
a,
it because he was whole and complete?
One of the things David is called one who like seeks after God.
Mhm.
And one of the understandings is that it's because David is naked before God a lot, meaning not just
Oh.
like physically naked, but David comes to God and is like, God, I don't know what to do here.
Yeah.
God, tell me what I'm supposed to do here. God, tell me what I'm supposed to do
nakedly
here.
honest.
Tell me what I'm supposed to. So all the time, David is asking that.
Mm.
Whereas Saul, the king before, Saul's name actually means to ask and to inquire.
Mhm.
And Saul does almost no asking or inquiring of anyone. He doesn't ask or inquire of God. He doesn't ask or inquire of the people.
Mm.
Whereas David will constantly be asking God. And then David will go back and ask the people and be like, God said this, what do you think? And then people are like, no, I don't know about that. So David goes back and asks the inquires of God again and is like, God, are you sure about this? Because we're really not sure about this. And let's talk more. And there's this back and forth of being naked before God.
Hmm.
And that is thought to be, that's what makes David to be righteous before God. Because David
Beloved.
certainly, or
Yeah,
beloved,
yeah.
certainly does a lot of things wrong and
Yes.
messes up a lot. But again and again, David goes naked before God.
Vulnerable.
Mhm.
So another place, so let's go to Genesis, back to Genesis. Genesis chapter 29, verse 6. This gets to where Camille started us tonight. Genesis chapter 29, verse 6.
You want me to read that?
Sure.
Okay. He said to them, "It is well with him." They said, "It is well. And see, Rachel, his daughter, is coming with the sheep." I
There
would
you have it.
imagine.
Mine's a question. Is he well? Yes. he
Mine
I'm
says, "Is
sorry?
he well?"
Mine's a question. Is he well?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not. He is well.
Is it well with him? And they said, "It is well." And we see Rachel, his daughter, is coming with the sheep.
So
Yeah,
is it shalom?
shalom would be just it is well. Right?
Yeah, it's the well, to be well.
Laban
The he
is
is
shalom.
well is shalom. So then is it well with him? Yes, they replied. And here's his daughter Rachel coming with the sheep.
Yeah.
This is like the most mundane like conversation
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. But
How's it
Mhm.
going? It's going well. Look, there's my daughter, there's his daughter coming with the sheep. Like,
Mhm.
look, yeah, they're coming over from the grocery store just now. How's it going? So this is another meaning of shalom being used. Is it well with you as that greeting and an ask of a well-being of a person.
I don't find it in mine, so it's
What does
supposed to
yours
be in, well, where is it
Verse
supposed to
6.
be?
chapter 29,
Genesis
verse
Genesis.
Genesis.
6.
Genesis.
Okay, yeah, it does. Okay, I was looking in the wrong spot then. Then he asked them, does all go well with him?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And what's the
Yeah.
response?
Yes.
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 It reminds me of that song, It Is Well With My Soul.
Yes.
Mhm,
It's a very pretty song.
mhm.
But I hadn't thought of too much about the word well in it before.
Yeah.
It is peaceful with my soul.
Mhm.
In this, it could be they're asking a deeper question, or it could just also be a asking of like, how's it going?
Yeah,
What's up? Type
yeah.
question.
Hmm.
Because if we turn ahead a little further, so staying in Genesis chapter 37. So chapter 37, verse 14.
7. 14.
Chapter 37, verse 14. He said to him, "Go now, see if it is well with your brothers and with the flock, and bring back word to me." So he sent him from the valley of Hebron. Do others have that part here?
Mm-hmm.
Go now, see if it is well with your brothers and with the flock. Bring word back to me.
Mhm.
So we have this well again. This is shalom. Go now, see if it is shalom with your brothers and with the flock.
Yeah.
So shalom can be people can be shalom, animals can be shalom. So it's also a word meaning the welfare of, like how are you doing? What is the welfare that you can check in? The welfare of animals, the welfare of people, the welfare of any living beings.
I feel like when we use it now to talk about people, it's usually health.
Yeah.
Are you well? Get well soon. But not situations. Is it
Mhm.
going well? That has nothing to do with health.
Yeah.
But now for us, it's mostly physical health. Is she feeling well?
And we divide physical and spiritual health in ways that the Hebrew people would not have.
Right. And we know there's more to it now,
Right.
but I think generally that's what we mean when we
Yeah.
Mhm.
say it.
Mhm.
Which would make sense why in Hebrew they use the same word for spiritual and physical health,
Right.
because physical things were impacted by the
It
spiritual
was more
world.
one, more
Very
blurred.
intimately. One more here on this same point is Genesis 43. So chapter 43, verse 28. It said, "Your servant, our father, is well. He is still alive."
Our Father is alive and well.
So again, another place where it's used frequently as meaning health.
Yeah.
So we've gone through a few things, meaning complete and wholeness, meaning to be on good terms, for there to not be violence between, for there to be health. Then another interesting use is Genesis chapter 41, verse 16. Turn back a few pages. So Genesis chapter 41, verse 16. This is Joseph
Talking to Pharaoh.
talking to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh is asking Joseph to interpret the dream. And Joseph answers Pharaoh, "It is not I. God will give Pharaoh a favorable answer." What do others have here? This is translated.
Yeah, mine says, "I cannot interpret your dream. It is God who will bring peace back to Pharaoh's mind."
Oh, you have the peace.
Yeah.
I've got Joseph answered Pharaoh, it is not in me. But God will give Pharaoh a favorable answer.
And it says, God who will give Pharaoh a favorable answer. It is God who will give Pharaoh a favorable answer.
Mm,
In Hebrew, this word favorable is peace. So the Hebrew word behind that. So it's probably a little closer maybe to the way Hannah's
Yeah.
Bible is
Peace
translated.
to his mind. Interesting.
That God will bring peace, shalom, to Pharaoh.
Here, Hannah, would you read yours again?
Joseph replied, I cannot interpret your dream. It is God who will bring peace back to Pharaoh's mind.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's helpful.
Mhm.
A lot more comforting to me if somebody said, you'll get a favorable answer versus you'll get an answer that will bring peace to you.
Might not like it right away.
And it's not great. I mean, it's not bad news, but it's not great news.
Is it 7 bad and 7 good?
Yeah, the dream interpreted is that there will be seven
Seven
good
good?
years of harvest and then
7
followed by 7 years of famine. That's not necessarily a favorable answer, but it could be a peaceful answer because peace, we've got this, it's tied with truth. And from truth, you can act in appropriate ways for out of that.
I have, but God will give Pharaoh the answer he desires.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a little misleading, does
okay.
that?
Yeah, and maybe which is certainty. Without, even though
And
it's a mixed bag.
I think in English it makes it confusing because the answer that Pharaoh desires is what's desiring referring back to. I think it's true. Pharaoh's desiring an answer.
Yeah, just,
But when we read it, it almost sounds like wanting a desirable answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
they desire an answer.
He
Right.
He
desires
just
an
wants the
answer.
correct
Yeah.
interpretation.
Right. Exactly. That's right.
Mhm.
So another way shalom is used. So we're not going through all 237 uses, but what to get a view. So let's go to Numbers. So the book of Numbers, chapter 25. Chapter 25, verse 12.
Okay. Well,
Because it's a C, what is that?
Phineas?
Therefore I say, I hereby grant him my covenant of peace.
ooh. Could covenant also be considered shalom?
25.
So- Is the shalom piece.
No,
So the
Oh,
separate one.
chapter 25.
okay.
So Numbers chapter 25, verse 12.
12.
Yeah, mine says I'm totally different.
13.
Well,
Verse
I'm
13.
thinking peace,
It
of
could be.
course, is understood, but I think covenant also falls into that same realm because we said that shalom could mean peace between people and between people and God. And that's what covenant would be, right?
Well, a covenant is between God. Yes,
An
but it's
agreement.
defining what type of covenant here.
Ah, okay, okay. Okay.
So it's being used as a modifier.
Okay.
Peaceful covenant.
Covenant might be another night we could look at the word covenant. There's more.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For sure. So we've got covenant is even, it's a different type of meaning we've got for peace here, because peace can also be tied with covenant. And this isn't the only place where peace is used, where a covenant is just being described as a covenant of peace.
Mhm.
One more place. In Samuel.
I'm trying to find my mute. I can't.
I can mute you, Camille. Just get your phone.
Oh, that's all. 2 Samuel.
Second Samuel.
2 Samuel chapter 11, verse 7. When do we read this one? So 2 Samuel verse 11, chapter 11, verse 7.
11. Okay, this is the NIV. When Uriah came to him, David asked how Job was, how the soldiers were, and how the war was going.
Yeah. Joab, the troops, the campaign. Is sort of implied in this one. Asked him how.
Yeah, so people's shalom is being asked about a few times here. We have David is asking how the people fare, the well-being of Joab, the well-being of the people, and the shalom of the war.
Yeah.
So this kind of counters a little bit sometimes when we think about peace is only an absence of conflict or an absence of war, because in this verse, David is actually asking about the shalom of the war.
Yeah. The wellness of it.
How is the well-being of the war?
Ooh.
Yeah. What is the shalom of the war?
Okay.
And I think that's a part of the Hebrew word for shalom that's important too, because sometimes when we think about peace, we think we have to have everything in order, or everything has to be like calm around us. But actually, the way shalom is used in the Bible is that well-being, people's shalom is being asked about in the midst of intense conflict all around them. And still, there can be shalom even in the midst of that. And we see that a lot in the Psalms too, where there's conflict around them. They're in the midst of war, but there can be peace or shalom even in the midst of that. And I know some of you have experienced that too. How would you describe shalom in the midst of conflict? Hi, Toby.
Right.
What if he answers the campaign is going terribly?
Well, then it's not in shalom.
He's
I suppose
asking if
it's
it
the
is a
well-being.
shalom?
So it's the well-being. So I guess it would just be an honest answer of what is the well-being of it.
If you were going to ask today, like, how's that conflict going? Like, let's say something at work or something, like people you know, how's that conflict going? I don't know if you're asking about the shalom because you just want the gossip. I don't know. Tough thing for me to wrap.
Go ahead, Hannah. I'm sorry.
I'm done. It's
There was a peace coalition who was in Africa, and somehow or other, they got the two tribal leaders, opposing tribal leaders, to sit down at a table and dialogue. To me, that would be a shalom in discord.
I mean, a classic example is World War I, the trenches where the troops stopped and sang Silent Night, which is a song in the movie. And you wonder how accurate it is, but that would be a
No, that was
classic
accurate.
example. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
song about it. Yeah. Temporary shalom.
But that tension kind of sense that in the midst of
Yeah.
things that you may not think are going to resolve, that there is something
Yeah.
whole.
Mhm.
Something, there can be beauty in it sometimes.
There can be wholeness even in the midst of
Mhm.
conflict.
Brokenness.
Mhm.
Wholeness in the midst of brokenness. The paradise.
When I was learning about grieving,
Mhm.
one of the things that I thought was the most helpful was that our brains are made so beautifully, or conflict has so many sides to it,
Mhm.
that you can have both
Oh yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah.
You can have peace while you're mourning. You can have joy while you're filled with sorrow. And I don't know, that kind of fits
Yeah.
with it. That peace would be in the middle of
Yeah.
the trenches. Everybody
yeah.
went that moment, you know what? Yeah, we know what's going on here, but we're still more complex than that.
Yeah. I've seen it a number of times where people are healthy even while they have cancer or a
Yeah.
terminal illness.
Yeah.
Not letting it take over every aspect.
But there can still be health in the midst of that. And in fact, I've seen a number of people who recognize their health in the midst of that, and then they live way longer than doctors say they're going to live.
Mhm.
Sometimes, not always. I mean,
sometimes the physical body goes.
yeah, they all work together.
Yeah.
Or it lets go.
Even though
That's
your mind,
peace.
yeah,
Yep.
and your mind's still at peace.
Yep. There can be wholeness.
Yeah.
And you can see it in dying too. Some people die with completeness and wholeness.
Mhm.
And those are definitely the most peaceful
Yeah.
deaths.
I'm gonna try not to tear up, but somebody asked me when my husband died, how was it? And I said it was peaceful.
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean, it was beautiful.
Mhm. Yep.
And why not? All of life can carry wholeness,
Mhm.
and death is a part of it.
Mhm. Mhm.
We have a Bible study video. It is a little over 4 minutes long. And hopefully it doesn't freeze this time.
Did it freeze last time?
Last time
I
it
got already
froze,
left.
but I
I
think
said I was gonna be a little late tonight.
all right.
Most languages, people can talk about peace treaties or times of peace. It means the absence of. The word peace
Minister.
is common in most languages. People can talk about peace treaties or times of peace. It means the absence of war. And in the Bible, the word peace can refer to the absence of conflict, but it also points to the presence of something better in its place. In the Old Testament, the Hebrew word for peace is shalom. And in the New Testament, the Greek word is eirene. The most basic meaning of shalom is complete or whole. The word can refer to a stone that has a perfect, whole shape with no cracks. It can also refer to a completed stone wall that has no gaps and no missing bricks. Shalom refers to something that's complex with lots of pieces that's in a state of completeness, wholeness. It's like Job, who says his tents are in a state of shalom because he counted his flock and no animals are missing. This is why shalom can refer to a person's well-being. Like when David visited his brothers on the battlefield, he asked about their shalom. The core idea is
Is it a YouTube problem? Or? Your Wi-Fi is working.
The Wi-Fi
It must be.
is
We're on
good.
Zoom. Oh. All right.
Okay. I think we're
because he
about to
counted
stop.
his flock and no animals are missing. This is why shalom can refer to a person's well-being. Like when David visited his brothers on the battlefield, he asked about their shalom. The core idea is that life is complex, full of moving parts and no animals are missing. This is why shalom can refer to a person's well-being. Like when David visited his brothers on the battlefield, he asked about their shalom. The core idea is that life is complex, full of moving parts and relationships and situations, and when any of these is out of alignment or missing, your shalom breaks down. Life is no longer whole, it needs to be restored. In fact, that's the basic meaning of shalom when you use it as a verb. To bring shalom literally means to make complete or restore. So Solomon brings shalom to the unfinished temple when he completes it. Or if your animal accidentally damages your neighbor's field, you shalom them by giving them a complete repayment for their loss. You take what's missing and you restore it to wholeness. The same goes for human relationships. In the book of Proverbs, to reconcile and heal a broken relationship is to bring shalom. And when rival kingdoms make shalom in the Bible, it doesn't just mean they stop fighting, it also means they start working together for each other's benefit. This state of shalom is what Israel's kings were supposed to cultivate, and it rarely happened. So the prophet Isaiah, he looked forward to a future king, a prince of shalom, and his reign would bring shalom with no end. A time when God would make a covenant of shalom with his people and make right all wrongs and heal all that's been broken. This is why Jesus' birth in the New Testament was announced as the arrival of eirene. Remember, that's the Greek word for peace. Jesus came to offer his peace to others, like when he said to his followers, "My peace I give to you all." The apostles claimed that Jesus made peace between messed up humans and God when he died and rose from the dead. The idea is that he restored to wholeness the broken relationship between humans and their creator. This is why the Apostle Paul can say Jesus himself is our eirene. He was the whole complete human that I am made to be but have failed to be. And now he gives me his life as a gift. And this means that Jesus' followers are now called to create peace. Paul instructed local churches to keep their unity through the bond of peace, which requires humility and patience and bearing with others in love. Becoming people of peace means participating in the life of Jesus, who reconciled all things in heaven and earth, restoring peace through his death and resurrection. So peace takes a lot of work, because it's not just the absence of conflict. True peace requires taking what's broken and restoring it to wholeness, whether it's in our lives, our relationships, or in our world. And that's the rich biblical concept of peace.
Making whole.
Mhm.
So that brings us into the New Testament, and as that concept is carried forward from the Hebrew Bible. Goodness.
I like the concept,
Yeah,
making relations much as
and that unity piece is so important. And that's part of, I think, an aspect we can definitely relearn from now. Jesus brought together people who were very divided between Gentiles and Jews at the time. And we live in a time when there's a lot of division in between people.
is there? I hadn't
And
noticed.
maybe.
What a revelation. I am.
So maybe there'd be a place for the work of shalom today. I don't know.
I think so.
Oh, very good.
Well, thank you,
Well, thanks,
everybody.
Gretchen.
Mhm.
Yes.
Thank you. Good to see all of you.
Yes.